And for Basilisk Gaming from Korea, I'm going for a relatively quick pool. It is Reynor.
So does Reynor give Yakov a series? All right, that's the good question. Of course, we are playing on the European server, so Reynor playing from Korea, he's going to have some amount of ping. But, like, do you give Yakov the respect of, yeah, we're going to play something standard, or just do what Reynor's doing right now, going for a quick pull? Now, the one interesting thing about this, Cats, this is gasless from Reynor. Yakov also went for an early pull. He got that gas early on. He's going to have a well-timed speed, but Reynor, he went for a 12 pull. There's no gas here, so maybe not quite as committed as a gas first 12 pull, but you do get your links a little bit faster. You get across the map a little bit faster. You can put pressure on the downstream hatch maybe just a little bit faster, or you can do what Reynor's doing right here. Just pull all your drones and say, this is going to be fun. Let's...
Yeah, but there's a bit of a dream scenario if you're YoungYakov, right? Like you kind of went for that early pull blind yourself. Now you're going to spot this. I think you probably just make spines up your main and then just make links and defend. There's already one spine out there. I mean, it is a little bit tucked in. Another one tucked in. I like that too. So now he has to prevent the circlings from ever getting here, and then reposition his spines to counter the spines of Reynor. I love this from YoungYakov, just going to the choke to make it so that, you know, this is a little bit slowed down from Reynor. That's a slowdown primarily on the spines. And I mean, he's in a fantastic position. He has the gas as well to get speed on the counter attack after. So this should be a YoungYakov game.
Yeah, this is just unmitigated disaster. The problem is as well, like, so Reynor goes, he queues up two spines. He actually doesn't get one. The drone gets a little annoying. Now, everything's going to get pulled. There's a queen here. There's a spine hitting him from afar. The drones are going to get pulled. Yeah, Reynor, he's dead in game one. That really shouldn't surprise anyone. But hey, YoungYakov. We were talking about blind max specs. It's a miracle if Bly takes a map. Well, Yakov, he's getting his own miracle started.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's a little bit of that's, you know, like if this was a miracle, it's like, you know, like Reynor had the wine under the table and he passed it over to YoungYakov type thing, you know, like, because it's not it's not really this was just perfect for YoungYakov, but just on the decision making front, I think not much happened. It was just more like the strategy choosing. Right, it just the way those fall against each other. It's like two early pulls, one like 12 pull with a drone pull, and the other one's like for like whatever that was, like 16 or 17 pull or something with a gas follow up. So it was just completely perfect for YoungYakov. Like,
yeah, just again, you can win games, especially in the mirror matchup. You can win games off build orders and just, hey, there we go, it works out. I got my win. But the question now, Cats, as we get ourselves into game two here, it's going to be El Sini, by the way, for those of you that are keeping track. But as we get our way into game two, does Yakov have another build order opportunity? Like, you got your one, right? 12 pull, drone pull against any early pull doesn't feel good. Against getting gas, it feels really bad. You know, it just doesn't feel all that great. So does Yakov have another one, or what's he going to do here in, I guess, a more macro game?
Yeah, I don't know if Yakov have like this. That was Reynor, right? Again, that was not Yakov's brilliance. I think it was Reynor saying, "I have a lot of ping or something of the sort. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a 12 pull drone pull. That's very easy on execute, and kind of not giving the respect to YoungYakov to some degree. They are playing on EU for the second time in a row now. So if Reynor has bad ping to EU, which I imagine he does, and YoungYakov, like you said before the series, might be forcing EU. He might be in a tough position, like maybe go for like let's imagine that Reynor has ping and he still thinks I'm the better player or the better strategic player whatsoever. You probably don't want to get to the link bane stage, right? Because link baning is so very reliant on you pressing, you know, X and timing your baning explosions like perfectly, pretty much, that like a little bit of response time on delay is the worst thing that can happen. So if you're Reynor, I just want to see him do like 2-base roach push or something of the sorts, right? Like just something that's safe and simple, yet still, like allows him to win a game, because otherwise it's gonna be tough.
Well, for now, it's not an early pull in the upper right, though. For Basilisk, he's down a game. That 12 pull drum pull definitely did not work. It's Reynor.
Yeah, hard to fault them. And on the other side, going again for like what looks like a 17-16, it is YoungYakov, or 17-17 perhaps. A Relatively fast pull, relatively early gas again, so he's gonna want that map control with this. He's obviously a very good player again, so you know, you change the ping advantage a little bit in this matchup in particular. Of all matchups, it can get pretty tough for Reynor here, already down 0-1. Please pause is what PP means Biomorph.
Thank you. I thought it was penne pasta.
Penne pasta. You like penne?
I like any pasta, actually. Any pasta.
But penne in particular, you're a big fan, I've heard of.
You know,
or
this
no?
is true. I made some penne the other night, and I put some chicken into it, and made my own.
That's pretty good.
I felt really fancy, and I made my own Alfredo sauce, which sounds like, oh man, no. You get like original Alfredo sauce. It's effectively you just put a ton of Parmesan or Parmesan just on the pasta, a little bit else. Actually,
wait, so you bought the Alfredo sauce and then you put Parmesan. How did you make it?
So you know that like American American Alfredo sauce is very cream focused, right?
Okay.
Original Parmesan is literally, or not original Parmesan, but like original Alfredo sauce is literally just like butter and Parmesan, effectively, and a little and like pasta water. So like the original, I think it's called like pasta al burro or something. When we actually had when it was invented, but we're gonna go right back into the game. The pause is resumed. Reynor, I guess the lag spike has hopefully been dealt with. We talked about playing.
Probably not. He's at 730 ping. Is what he said.
Like
so yeah.
I heard 250 on Roddy's stream is what he was dealing with, but
yeah, he said 250 at first, and then he said 750 now. Chill, because he said I got so much ping, and YoungYakov typed ... right, because of the pause. I guess I don't know. Like he didn't like the pause, and Reynor's like, you know, chill. I got this much ping, so. That's what's going on here. A little bit of friction, perhaps, as YoungYakov shaming Reynor for his lag. Reynor trying to do the best that he can with insane ping to defeat who should be a massive underdog in this series.
And how cool would it be, though, if we see Reynor go again? He is in Korea right now. He's entering that Korean training arc. He's trying to qualify for GSL Season 2. How cool would it be? His lings are now going to show up, and one drone seems destined to fall. Reynor gonna have to build some more. Queens are on the way, but they're not there yet. I cannot believe that drone stays alive. Okay, it's not going to, but at least it lives a little bit longer. And with the cancel and it going down, it probably is worse than just not get it all. But
okay, that has to be so frustrating, because that drone would have survived. Like if Reynor clicked it to the minerals. Reynor did click it to the minerals. The thing is, he thought YoungYakov was gonna tag onto the drone, and he made the spine. But he has such insane ping and delay that the spine went back to suicide effectively. This is not Reynor playing, right? Like, this is not a decision that he would ever make. That drone was safe. But on his screen, you know, like when he issued the order, it wasn't. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's so too.
Yeah, he can't cancel. Like, this is ping. This is like, yeah. How cool would it be? In my opinion, not very cool in this instance, because this is not Reynor that I'm watching play, right? And yeah. It's not to his fault by the looks of it. The ping seems absurd.
I was gonna talk about it. I mean, how cool would it be if he goes, he's in Korea, he wins Europe, and he wins Korea, and you know, gets
that would be insane.
Yeah. At this point, it seems like the conditions that Reynor's trying to play under are kind of rough. Cats, as we talked about this setup.
This was fine though.
Yeah, he's actually. I mean, he lost a queen.
Just suicided a bunch of links, yeah. But YoungYakov suicided a lot of links, right? That he didn't need to suicide just now. And Reynor is doing kind of like what we were proposing would be a good idea to do, which is just sit back and go for, you know, roaches on 2 base. Because then you can't really mess that up. You just have to attack move them effectively, right? Like, it is, as far as strategies are concerned and ease of execution, this is probably the easiest thing that you can execute a Zerg outside of a 12 pool drone pool. So Reynor definitely playing to the conditions that he's trapped in, and let's see if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, you know, as we talked about this as well, I'm a little surprised this wasn't like a pure gasless opening. Maybe, I guess, the early game's a little bit too hard to deal with the potential of Ling Floods and Ling Bane and whatever, but if you're going to go for this, I almost would have expected to see some sort of gasless opening. You just get the wall at your natural super quick and go from there. Regardless, he does have the wall down now, right? Layer is done, roach speed on the way, +1's on the way. And he's going to have that superior timing. YoungYakov, his lair is later. His +1 attack is later. And yes, Cats, there's a third base. So there's going to be that more production. There's going to be more money. But if Reynor can just hit this timing, I mean, that's going to be a lot of roaches. He's building more overlords. A little bit supply blocked at the moment. Not too bad. But he's just going to have a sledgehammer.
Yeah, for sure. At the same time, YoungYakov, only 4 extra drones. He's going to scout exactly what's going on. So he, I think, will very much have an opportunity to try to stop this. He should be anticipating after scouting no third that this attack is definitely coming. So maybe, I don't know, drop a couple of spines or something of the sorts near the third is perhaps what he should be doing. Reynor is going to be hitting as hard as he can now as +1 attack is about to finish. It's not the sharpest timing in the world either, as that's gonna, you know, it's about to finish in 2 seconds, and YoungYakov's is about to finish in like, I don't know, like 15 seconds, which means, you know, if you are not hitting for the next 5 seconds or so, which is the case, that gap will lessen, and if YoungYakov does get to his upgrade, it'll be a fairly even fight here, so things not looking that great for Reynor at the moment.
He has walked queens across, which if he can find some creep, that'd be really nice, but no, Yakov just runs down the ramp and knifes that down. That being said, Roach Speed is done. +1 is done. Reynor, 2 upgrades that YoungYakov does not have here. Spine's going to have to unburrow as well. There's a Ravager here that can look to burst that down. And this fight at the start of things is looking pretty solid for Reynor. Yeah, he lost the Queen, certainly. The Spine's going to eat a shot. The Queens are going to start to go down. Reynor, despite 730 milliseconds, and despite this horrible ping advantage, is running a rough shot over YoungYakov in this game number 2. Yakov knew what was happening. He got the full scout, but Reynor, it's just a good timing.
Yeah, I mean, really, like a couple of mistakes here from YoungYakov that are pretty huge, right? Like, I think after he did damage with the Zerglings, he had an opportunity to kill the drone that he let go, that then Reynor re-suicided, for example, but that was all going very, very well. Then the next set of links was kind of suicidal for no reason, right? They got a queen, I think, but then you lost, like, I don't know, 15 links or something in the process. So I feel like that could have been much more effective. That could have given you map control and like allowed you to get your economy going a little bit longer and a little bit easier. And then the next thing for me is actually going out of creep to actually try to snipe the queen, knowing that Reynor is probably going to be faster to like roach speed, and he's going to be, you know, he has more of an upgrade, etc. That queen didn't have very much energy, so it wasn't like, you know, maybe it would have gotten 1 transfuse if it got to creep. But he lost like maybe like 3 roaches, to like, let's say, took damage worth of 3 roaches in the process of sniping that queen before his upgrade came in. So I think that was ill-fated personally, the fact that he went out for it. But yeah, you know, it's difficult to make the best decisions when you're under pressure about to potentially beat one of the best in the world.
And there's also that thing that we talk about. So we spent a lot of time talking about how Reynor's on 250 milliseconds, 730 milliseconds, whatever it is, depending on the vagaries of time and space, right? On the flip side, Yakov sitting here, he feels like he's got an advantage. He's up 1-0. He feels like these Ling Floods maybe got a little bit more damage than they did. Knocking down queens is always great. He killed a spine, by the way, as well. That was morphing, so that's like 3 drones. And he does all these things like, look, I should win this game. I have really good ping. I have all these advantages. There's that kind of mental pressure that I'm dealing with where I feel like I should win this game. So I'm going to do I'm going to feel a lot of pressure to win the game. And then Reynor goes and he's like, yeah, okay, fine. I'm going to run across the map, defend me. Yakov, again, with this pressure, if I need to win this game, this is my opportunity to 2-0 the reigning Gamers 8 champion, right? One of the best Zerg players in the world. And then you make these mistakes because you're like, I got it. I can't let him come back into this. And, you know.
Yeah, it's very easy to make this sort of mistake when you're under pressure, right? Like your hands, especially when you're the underdog. At least in my case, like my hands would always like start trembling, and I would start like getting really nervous whenever I was at the precipice of beating someone considerably better than myself, right? Because you're not expecting it to begin with, and you see it materializing, and then all of a sudden everything starts shaking. So that is very much a thing. Like nerves can come into play, especially as you're not, the most mature, experienced player out there, which YoungYakov is most certainly not, at least not when it comes to this level of competition, not when it comes to beating, Reynor, Serral, Maxpax. That's not a thing that happens to him, really, much less on the stage. So if you feel it's about to happen, yeah, I can totally understand and relate to the nerves.
All right, well, for now, it's going to be for a gas cancel in the upper right, because Reynor, well, he's tied it up. We're moving into game 3.
And YoungYakov, he's tied it up, moving into game 3.
Well, Cats, gotta nail down probably the worst player intro I've ever done. It's like, okay, fine. We're gonna really make it be known that
I just like symmetry.
Up.
I just like fairness. I just like fairness and symmetry. You know, much like this map. Look at that beautiful, beautiful red dots, blue dots, going towards each other. Of course, Reynor went for the 15 hatch first here, so his second overlord nowhere to be found on the map. Whereas YoungYakov went for the more standard route, looking like a 16 hatch, 17 gas, 17 pool, or 18 gas, 17 pool. In any case, very greedy on the side of YoungYakov. Reynor going for gasless, so maybe taking advice from UBO Molf in the previous game. This is very much something that he could do into roaches, one of the better avenues to do something like that, as it'll basically boost your economic income in the early stages, right? Like your mineral intake, by virtue of not taking the gas. So he does get a very, very delayed gas, and yeah, we're chilling.
One of the downsides of this, though, we talk about going truly gasless, and he's not truly gasless, right? The cast is still done before the 2-minute mark, but you know, if you're going gasless, right, you want to have a really good wall on your natural, which it's kind of the PvP setup, right? Where you want to do it on a map with a ramp, because then you have that high ground, low ground, you can defend your natural, it becomes a little bit easier. So it makes sense that we see Reynor, okay, he's going to go 15 hatch. He's going to go gas cancel into it. He's going to try to give himself a little bit of an economic steroid that way, get creep out a little bit further as well, so he can wall off, which is, I think, actually probably a big point here, just in case Yakov decides to go for something. But again, you talk about this, there's not an easy wall, right? So that does make it a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, as far as walls go, like, this map does have a very nice, attractive choke. Like, it should be fairly easy to wall, you know, now if he wants it. But yeah, I don't think he feels like he needs it. He has his overlords outside of YoungYakov for now. He sees the slow links, now sees the third as well. So he should have a good sense for, hey, this is when I might need some defense, and it's not yet. So now he starts his wall, but, you know, very much at his own pace. And double creep spread as well. Not something you see every day.
Oh yeah, getting 4 queens this early. I guess, again, it makes sense. You're just trying to play defensively. You really have a lot of faith in yourself once the game moves away from the knife fight in a phone booth, blindfolded in the dark, Lingbane shenanigans. Like, that's really hard. I don't care if you're 250 milliseconds. I don't care if you're 730 milliseconds. It's really hard if you're not on even ping, or not on some semblance of an even ping. So, but you get to the mid game and you get into roach fights, and you can set up your surrounds, and you can rely on your macro more and your multitasking and things that maybe are a little bit less reliant on having really good ping. So anything you can do to stabilize yourself into the mid game to get there, get more queens early, get your wall off, go for 15 hatch, just because, again, anything you can do to get your creep spread out, anything you can do to get yourself defensively set up is really solid. So Reynor, notice he didn't get link speed. It's straight into roaches, +1. He's got these queens, and he's, again, going for that delayed third base. Yakov doing a well-timed one, but Reynor, again, he's got to be safe.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Reynor is playing the least Reynor-like that you can play, right? So props to him for that as well, showing a lot of range in that sense. Like, he is usually the player that thrives with circlings, with multitasking, with, you know, like, just being everywhere and whatnot. And here, instead, he's relegated towards doing one of the most boring things that you can do if you're a very fast player, right? So I don't know what he's clicking to make himself happy in the meanwhile, but here are the roaches, and they are across the map. No upgrades for either player yet, but YoungYakov should have an easy hold on to the first 5 here with the queens. So good news for Reynor is he only made like a small batch of roaches first, and that means he's actually a hidden worker. So despite the faster hatchery from YoungYakov, the economy for Reynor is better.
Yeah, and it works out. Although I do like... Oh, go ahead.
That was a fake, effectively, yeah.
Yeah, nice faint little shadow jab, I guess, or something like that. I do like YoungYakov, though, again, on this idea that Reynor's playing somewhat defensively, very incredibly stable. He gets that quicker evo for +1 armor a little bit quicker than even... Yes, there's been this meta of getting that quicker evo a little bit more and more to get your +1 armor a little bit faster and faster, but he's getting it pretty dang quickly. Although, here's the problem. First of all, Reynor's attacking right now, so that's money that's been invested. Not really, although, again, this is feels like faint round 2 coming out of Reynor. But more importantly, his +2 attack is a little bit slow. Now he's going to get it. And Reynor does not want to move up this ramp. Not with that road speed, not into a concave, even with the creep spread that he's been able to get on this highway. That's not a good attack pattern. So for now, YoungYakov, closer and closer to +1 armor, +2 attack, roach speed. He's got his third base up for longer. He's pretty happy.
Yeah, but now for long, perhaps. I mean, Reynor knows that there's a spine and where it is, so he should look for a different angle, perhaps. Now he will be hitting with Ravagers as well, so all those roaches that took damage at the front, as long as none of them died, which none of them did, they just morphed into a Ravager. First Overlord Snipe here. And I think Reynor's gonna wanna wait for his +2 timing, as he hasn't moved out right after the Ravager's finished. So we'll see if he's able to make it with that, but that's very much the window that he's looking for to try to end the game, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But for now, yeah, the circle of death. I don't care what ping you're on. You're not really surviving that one. So Ravagers are here, of course. The Overlord went down. A little bit less vision for YoungYakov at the moment. But Reynor, yeah, he's just maxing out, right? Although I would like to see him get that second Evo. You know, like at this point, Yakov's supplies are roughly equivalent, good enough. And he's going to have Carapace. He's going to get +2 Carapace started if he wants to. And these are really powerful things. Not as important as +2 attack. It's not the strongest to break points. But it takes some damage away from the roaches over time. You really do feel it, especially when we're looking at 2-1.
No, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, YoungYakov will have the better upgrades if Reynor doesn't hit a very sharp timing, which I thought he was looking to do. And now he might be. But YoungYakov is trailing right behind him in terms of upgrades, right? So here's the attack that we were talking about. It's a lot of Ravagers. Hopefully he doesn't need to invest time into breaking those rocks. Instead, he's gonna go around with half of his army to give himself the surface area that he wants and needs. And now here he goes, but he only has 14 seconds until YoungYakov catches up in terms of the upgrades. So this has to be a quick and swift fight for Reynor while he has better upgrades, only ever so briefly, and it's looking pretty good so far, BMO.
That it is. It's just a massive surround here. So Yakov, he was going to have those really good upgrades, and now they're here. The problem is, he doesn't have a lot of roaches. The supplies say, yeah, they're within 20. It's fine. So much of that supply is in production. It's not here able to fight. Roaches do spawn, and they get on top of the Ravagers, at least one of them. So that's going to be fairly nice for YoungYakov. But Reynor, he fights through the lag. He fights through the wall, fights through playing like Reynor doesn't play.